Hi Scorpio, welcome to your February 2021 tarot reading. So Scorpio, February is a cozy month. There's a lot going on in the skies in Aquarius, a lot more than usual. And for you, this is putting a lot of focus on your personal, intimate, closest relationships, where you feel safe, where you feel secure, where you feel protected, and where you can be vulnerable with somebody else or other people. By the end of the month, we've shifted into Pisces season, which is very romantic, very creative. It's all about love and creation and how the two combine in such a special way, where love is something between two people that can create many things in the world, for good or bad, but it's typically a pretty good energy. A lot of you are getting, in February 2021, clarity on a situation surrounding somebody from the past, or a home situation, or a family situation, or even a soulmate situation. A lot of you with Mercury retrograde could be hearing from somebody, a voice from the past that you didn't expect to hear from. And don't worry, this doesn't have to be an ex. It actually doesn't have to be romantic at all. It can be a friendship, it can be an old colleague, it can be an old job, it can be an old estranged relative, it can be someone who you just lost touch with. But it brings you some kind of answer and some kind of clarity, which is really quite fascinating and very in alignment with the astrology, with that Mercury retrograde. For a lot of you that have issues with a family member, or there's some kind of discord, that energy can be clarified, there can be healing, there can be conversation. Knight of Swords, and this could happen rather quickly. It could actually happen rather out of the blue. A lot of you could be hearing from an air sign, an Aquarius, Libra, or a Gemini though. And a lot of you could be getting news that goes really fast. It really picks up a lot quicker than you think. So some kind of offer made in February with that Ace of Swords, the Hierophant, the Three of Swords, the Queen of Swords, the Strength card, and the Two of Wands. So a lot of Scorpios are currently in the midst of taking a new path in life, and it's one that is based on intellectual strength. And there's the Sun underneath. Oh wow, the Sun with the Two of Cups and the King of Wands. Interesting indeed. Let's see just what that Two of Wands is leading you to. Aha, Nine of Cups. Okay, so I know a lot of you are probably looking at that Three of Swords in the middle and thinking, yikes, but no, that's in your fears position. That's what you're scared of. Which is fair enough. I think we're all a little bit scared of that card. I mean, look at it. It's piercing. But with the Queen of Swords in your corner, you have a strength. You also have a stinger, but you have a strength to stand up for yourself. Now, the problem with that, though, is strength is in the challenge position, meaning, Scorpio, that a lot of you could be in some kind of confrontation with a Leo person in your life, but I wouldn't worry about that. We'll get to it in the end. For a lot of you, you are learning to trust your intuition and use your head in all matters in your life, not to be clouded with emotions, because sometimes Scorpios are ferociously smart. You know, you have very strong instincts. That makes it easy for you to learn as you go. That makes it easy for you to learn through experience. But in moments where your intuition is overshadowed by deep emotion, and sometimes this can, for you, be more of an unraveling of long-standing emotions. For a lot of Scorpios that are in that position where they feel like they're trying to do the smart thing, the Aquarian energy looks good on you, because not only is Aquarian energy air sign energy, which is very logical, it's very intellectual, it's very much based on reason and fact. That energy looks good on you because you're applying that to your emotional life, but not in a way that's cold. Not in a way where you are holding back your feelings, not in a way where you're being so self-protective that you're putting up walls. Actually, what you're doing, Scorpio, is somewhat different. You are learning how to stand up for yourself and learning how to make good decisions without your emotions clouding them. And that's not to say you're ignoring your emotions, What's actually happening is that you are understanding them better. What's actually happening is that you're not letting them control you. You're accepting them, you're working with them, but you're not letting them control you. And what you're doing is you're applying this, by the looks of things, to some kind of path, some kind of decision. And that decision is going to lead you to something you've wanted, I think, for a long time, something that you can toast to, something that you can tell people about, something that you can share. You can share your successes, you can share your good decision, and you can share something that you've wished for. This is always the wish comes true card, but it's not out of the blue. That's just one thing I want to say, is that you've made a decision here. You've chosen a path, and if you're doubting the path you've chosen recently, Scorpio, this is saying you've done the right thing. And the reason the Three of Swords is in the middle, and the Three of Swords I think is kind of misunderstood, because swords energies in the tarot are to do with your own mind. And there's something in your mind that is just working against your rational brain and your heart. There's something that's stopping the two connecting. So some of you, that can be the throat chakra, because your third eye and your heart are connected with the throat chakra in the middle. And when your throat chakra is not working properly, when you're afraid of speaking your truth or you're afraid of asking questions, the two can't communicate as well. And so I think with the Queen of Swords here, apologies, I think you're actually starting to communicate in a way that's good for you and good for everyone else around you. Now let's talk about strength though. A lot of you are dealing with a Leo where there's a little bit of a friction. Or if it's not a Leo, I think you're dealing with your own energies of bravery and courage. Maybe you don't feel as connected to them. And if you don't feel as connected to the bravery and the courage, Scorpio, perhaps it is because there's a disconnect between your third eye and your heart. Perhaps it's because you're not speaking your truth, and that's where true courage lies. You know, speak the truth even if your voice shakes. If you have something you need to say, even if Mercury is in retrograde, you don't need to let everything be unblocked, but you need to evaluate it differently. You don't need to stop speaking. You just need to think of, am I saying this from a place of logic and reason? Or am I over emotional? Because if you're over emotional, you're not actually speaking your truth at all. You might be speaking the truth of Scorpio 5 years ago that was really very hurt and feels like they might be in that position again. Because you're actually not. You're actually not. You're in a very different path here. With the Hierophant, for many of you that are on some kind of spiritual journey or you've committed to spiritual practice, this is good. This is good. You're implementing, you're using the tools you need to use in order to progress forward. Now, the reason I said earlier I don't think you should worry if you're dealing with a Leo is because we have the Sun card underneath. Now, this is the highlight of Leo energy. The Sun is a lot more intense than the Strength energy because it is global. It is the universe. It is feeling the warmth of the universe, feeling like you're getting back what you've been asking for. And underneath it is the Two of Cups and the King of Wands, which makes me feel like Scorpio is dealing with a fire sign. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius are really in a good space. And if you're not, if you're missing a fire sign, I feel like there's some kind of news for sure. Yes, if you're missing a fire sign, there's some kind of news for sure. Page of Swords, King of Cups, Eight of Wands. That might be your news coming in from somebody. At the beginning of the reading, that might be what it actually is. You might be receiving news from this person. But what I'm kind of seeing for many Scorpios is that this pathway that you've chosen, this decision that you've made, and I can't help but feel like you've really been back and forth on starting something or moving in a direction. And I think you've been back and forth on it, Scorpio, because honestly, you didn't feel strong enough. You didn't feel like you had the courage. You didn't feel like you were brave enough, or you didn't feel like you had the brains for it maybe, or the heart for it. But you do. You know, the Three of Swords in the middle means that a lot of the suffering in choosing this new path is in your mind. And I'm not saying all of it is. I'm not discrediting anybody that's upset about something at the moment. But in terms of choosing a path, I feel like a lot of it is fear of what lies down the path rather than what's actually going on. But what lies down the path for you, Scorpio, is the Nine of Cups. That's a wish. That is feeling satisfied. That is feeling emotionally content. It's toasting with friends. It's connecting with people. It is a job well done. And it's worth taking that risk. It really is. It's worth taking the risk. Oh. Okay, this is interesting. These just popped out on their own. Queen of Cups, King of Pentacles, and the Three of Cups. For a lot of you that are in a relationship, especially if it is with somebody who is very grounded, very stable. For those of you in relationships with people like that, especially if they're an earth sign, sun, moon, or rising, but they don't have to be, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, there's a celebration. There's something worth celebrating. There is an accomplishment for a lot of Scorpios this month in business, okay? There's also a next step for some Scorpios in terms of a relationship. This could be an engagement. This could be a family reunion, a union of some kind being celebrated. And I feel like for a lot of you, it's very joyous, it's very exciting, and it's something that is really worth celebrating. I do get this impression for Scorpios that there's celebrations of something in Scorpio's life. I feel like it's your life. I don't feel like it's somebody else's news. I think that there's something to celebrate for you this month that is going to really give you a lot of pleasure and a lot of excitement. I also feel like there could be news of, I get this impression that people are excited about your news. You've done something, and you've done something, you've evolved. I feel like people around you are so proud of you for something. You've evolved, you've expanded emotionally, you've made a better decision for yourself. And I feel like a lot of people are also very excited, Scorpio, that something's working out for you, that maybe it looked for a long time like it wouldn't, big promises. I know, I'm sorry, but there is a lot of good energy. And I'm going to do an oracle card for Scorpio. Ooh. The Inner Goddess card has been coming out a lot lately. Awaken the goddess within you through dance, self-care, and appreciating your divinity. So with the Aphrodite card, it's very much like Empress energy, where you're feeling abundance, you're feeling you've created something. Like underneath the True Love card. Isn't that beautiful? True Love card. I think love can be quite hard for Scorpio people when they get... when they get vulnerable. There's always that moment of fear. And I think for a lot of Scorpios, there is a need to pull some swords out of the heart in terms of you maybe getting a bit emotional in situations that don't require it. It's kind of a choose your battles energy. But it's also making you aware that sometimes your emotions, because they're so strong, they're not always directed in the right direction. Now, I actually feel bad saying that, because most Scorpios, especially the ones that I know through this channel, those of you that I've got to talk to and exchange emails with and messages with, a lot of Scorpios are really evolved, really evolved. And they don't do the sting thing, and they process their emotions, and they reflect on themselves, and they're some of the most self-aware people that I know. But sometimes Scorpio people can be so emotional that they can do impulsive actions, and you mustn't do that this month. You must sit with them, think about them, reflect on them, and detach from them a little bit with the Aquarian energy, and then take action. So this isn't saying just take action, because the reason the horses are black and white is because one represents the action and one represents the spiritual side, what's going on internally, and then the action you take in the outside world. The reason the white horse is out in front is because that's representing the spiritual side. That's representing trust in the universe, trust in yourself. And then the black horse is the action that we take, but it's also the mystery of it all, trusting in that mystery. The white horse goes out in front because we have to put it in our minds first. It has to exist in our minds before it can exist in our hands. Everything else did. Nothing was just invented without a thought. And so whatever it is that you're looking for or doing, Scorpio, there has to be a thought first. There has to be the decision. There has to be, oh, man holding a heart in the 4th chakra, Archangel Raphael. A lot of you have some love healing going on. A lot of you have beautiful conversations, and I think this is to do with that 4th house energy. But I'm also thinking that the reason that this is flowing a lot easier to you by the end of the month is, one, because we've Pisces season, but also, Scorpio, because your detachment from your emotions a little bit, and I don't mean shutting them off, I mean looking at them objectively, stepping back and then saying, hey, you know, when you do this, it makes me feel such and such a way, can you please stop? Rather than, you're evil, you know, just to be dramatic, but not being so, you know, when those emotions get overrun, they get overrun, and it's not your fault. It's probably due to past experience. It's also probably just to do with being ruled by Pluto. You know, you can't help that. And it's not that it's something you have to live with. It's something that you can master. Pluto as your ruler means that you're constantly transforming. Look, here's Judgment. You're transforming. A lot of you are transforming a home situation, a relationship situation, or a work situation where you're really finding that through using your sweeter side in communication and your practical side, love is becoming a lot easier, but so is business. By just being direct, but not being emotional about it. And I know that that sounds like it goes against your nature, but it's about overcoming the fear. It's about overcoming this reaction, this impulse, and feeling like you're not strong enough, so you have to go on the defense. And again, I'm not saying if someone's really done you wrong that you have to do anything like that. But you have a new pathway to walk down that's leading you to something greater, so I would keep going that way. You know? You seem to be on a new trajectory this month that I like, because you've thought about it. And a lot of you are really working on opening up that heart space and keeping it open. I have a phenomenal Reiki healer that I go to about twice a year. And she was saying to me that the heart chakra, whenever you're in pain, you can shut the heart chakra down. You close it off because you want to protect it. But what you don't realize, and I really think it makes sense looking at this card, what you don't realize is that the moment you shut your heart down at a time when you're in pain, you lock that pain in. You know, you're trying to protect yourself, you're trying to survive, but then that pain gets locked up. So when someone offers you love, you can find it really hard to offer it back, or you can find it hard to offer in general. And I'm just looking at this card, and he has his chest exposed, and it's not in a way that is looking like a Lothario. I mean, he actually does look like a Lothario, but I don't think that's the message here. I think it's because his chest is exposed, because he's exposing his heart. So I think somebody this month is exposing their heart to you, Scorpio, or you're exposing your heart to them. And I do feel like somebody in your life, Strength card could be a Leo, but it could be an air sign. Somebody in your life just isn't as good at it. But certainly if someone in your life is not good at opening up, don't come at them with a whole range of intense emotions that they didn't see coming, because they'll shut down. Come to them with rational but caring, Scorpio. You possess it. You do it so well with many situations in your life. Why not do it here? And that can be love, that can be work, that can be family. But look, it leads you to a wish. A lovely, lovely wish that you can toast to, you can raise a glass to, you can have some champagne maybe. If you fancy joining me in the extended, we clarify all of these cards, and we talk a little bit more in depth about what could be going on with air signs, water signs, earth signs, fire signs, etc. So if you want to join me there, Scorpio, it is linked below. Have a beautiful February. I love you all very much, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.